Welcome to our deep dive into, words and how they shape our understanding of, everything really. Ourselves, the world around us, and especially as you're navigating the world of media, we're looking at two very different perspectives today.
Okay.
Ocean Duran's masterpiece and motion, an end-defining word.
Interesting.
So masterpiece in motion that sees words as, practical tools, right? For communication, self-discovery.
Okay.
But very much focused on media. While end-defining word, it's more about the spiritual, almost like revelatory power of words.
Yeah.
So two very different approaches.
It's fascinating how those two perspectives, they seem so different.
Right.
But they both really give us a lot to think about.
Yeah.
When it comes to communication, to learning, to even like individual purpose,
It really is. It's almost like we're comparing two different toolboxes, right?
Yeah.
Like masterpiece in motion is like, here are the tools you need to build something. Like to build a successful media career,
Right.
You need management skills, ethical standards, psychology.
Yeah.
It's like a whole toolkit.
Masterpiece in Motion actually uses the media industry itself as a learning environment, so to speak. It's not just about learning these skills, right? Separately, but about bringing them all together into what Duran calls correlative design.
I was just going to ask, what is correlative design?
Right. So correlative design is about connecting all of these different, seemingly different, skills and areas of knowledge to get this bigger picture understanding.
So it's not just, be a great writer.
Right.
But also...
It's understanding the business side of media.
Okay.
The psychology of your audience, the ethical implications.
The whole
thing.
Sure.
And what's really interesting about Masterpiece in Motion is that, he really suggests that this correlative design, it leads to wisdom.
Okay.
So it's more than just having a skill. It's about understanding how all of these different areas connect and influence each other.
To use words more effectively.
Exactly, to use words more effectively.
And then it takes that even further.
Yeah.
And it applies this idea of interconnectedness to strategic planning.
Right.
But it's very specific about the focus on individual success.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about achieving outcomes, right?
Yeah.
But about the process of actually applying your skills and your knowledge. Almost like leveling up.
So less about checking off boxes.
Yes, exactly.
But more about how you navigate.
Exactly,
A whole
challenges along the way, using
Yeah.
what he calls correlative practices.
So bringing in all of these
Different pieces.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what's really fascinating is that
Okay.
both masterpiece in motion and end-defining word, despite being so different
Yeah, this is
in their views on words,
an interesting connection.
they both emphasize the importance of individual experience in finding truth.
Like masterpiece in motion, very grounded in the practical, using words as tools to build a career.
Exactly.
But then end-defining word is very much about...
It's about this, deeper meaning.
Yeah, but they both seem to agree
They both agree.
your unique journey
Your individual experience
is so important.
is key.
Yeah.
And I think a great example of this is in Masterpiece and Motion. He says, conceptually developing the skills to produce educative relations is crucial for social communication.
Whoa, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, but basically, the subjects at hand require the individual to use his own experiences to relate.
Like you're bringing something to the table.
Exactly, yeah. It's not passive.
Right.
You're actively using your experiences to make meaning.
And then end-defining word takes this even further.
Right, it takes it to the
Spiritual realm.
It takes it to that spiritual level.
Yeah.
There's this really powerful line. His word has a meaning. Your life is worth alive by his breathing. Your story is part of this larger narrative. You're an individual, but you're also part of something much bigger.
Like that tapestry idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. It makes you think about how individual expression and this shared understanding can actually complement each other.
Right, they work together.
Yeah.
And I think that leads to another really interesting question of how to balance those two things.
Yeah.
Especially in the world of media, where we're constantly
bombarded
yes.
with perspectives, narratives. That's
encounter with language.
Yeah.
It's like each word has this like specific energy or resonance, and defining words suggest that these words,
Right.
they can shape how we see things.
It's like a lens.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
They create a lens through which we experience a situation.
So it's not just about
The dictionary definition.
Yeah.
It's about the feeling it evokes,
Right.
the experience it creates.
It really makes you wonder if we should be paying more attention to the words we're choosing.
Absolutely, and that's something we can
Yeah.
delve into further in our next segment.
Okay, great.
We'll explore how to apply these insights from masterpiece and motion and end-defining words to our own lives.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Last time we were looking at how these two sources view work.
Right.
So masterpiece and motion is very focused on that practical application, especially in media.
Right.
And in defining work, more on that spiritual depth.
Yeah, that's the way to put it.
And we even touched on this idea of correlative design for individual success from masterpiece and motion.
Right.
But I'm really curious to dig deeper into what that actually looks like. Especially, for someone who's interested in this, like yourself.
Right, so it's one thing to kind of understand the concept, but what does it actually look like in practice? And I think masterpiece in motion suggests that the media industry itself is a really good learning ground for this. Because think about the media landscape.
Right.
It's this blend of creative, technical business, all these different elements. And to really thrive, you need all these different skills.
So it's not enough to just be like a great writer.
You can't just be a great writer or director.
Yes, director.
More masterpiece in motion says you need to understand management, ethical standards, psychology, sociology, and business.
Wow.
It's really about being well-rounded and being able to navigate all those different facets.
So that's where correlative design.
Exactly, because it encourages you to connect all these different skills and see how they actually relate to each other.
So for example, understanding psychology
can make you a more effective communicator.
Makes sense.
If you know business principles,
Right.
you can manage production more effectively.
Yeah.
Having a strong ethical foundation can help you make creative choices.
So you're kind of weaving it all together.
Exactly, weaving it all together to make something, stronger, more adaptable.
Yeah.
And that's what he's talking about with the strategic plan.
Okay, which we were talking about earlier.
Right.
About how it emphasizes applying those skills practically.
Exactly, and it's not just about the theoretical knowledge you have to actually
So it's not just textbook knowledge. Do it.
And remember,
the
measure of success isn't just the outcome, but how you use your skills to navigate all the challenges and opportunities.
So you're not just following a set of instructions.
No, you're having to
on your
adapt.
Yeah.
And I think that really ties back to what we were talking about before with individuals.
Right, how our own experiences.
Exactly. Masterpiece really encourages you to find your own voice.
Right.
And leverage your unique story.
Yeah, but how does that fit in with the spiritual aspect? And defining it?
Because we have this tension. The divine origin of language. And then the individual role. But in the defining word, acknowledging that the individual has to interpret
So it's not
and apply that truth to their own life.
passively receiving.
No, it's an active process. Yeah. And it even says that words are there to tell you your story. The story of how you can be. So it's an invitation to explore your own experience.
Universal truth.
In light of that larger truth.
Yeah, and applying it to your own life.
Exactly.
And that's where those key words.
Right. We talked about earlier.
Yeah, how certain words
carry a specific message or theme.
And they evoke.
And they create an experience.
Welcome back to our deep dive into masterpieces in motion. We talked about how as practical tools, but also intuitive. Exactly. And how important our own
Yeah, absolutely.
we've even touched on the big concept of relative design words. But I think for me, now the question is,
How do we actually apply all of this?
yeah, that's the big question, right?
Like, it's one thing to understand it all intellectually, but how do we actually make it work
Exactly. How do we make it real?
in our lives?
Yeah.
So let's start with, like, masterpiece and motion and its idea of strategic planning.
Right.
How it's not just about setting goals and checking things off the list.
Yeah, it's more about
It's about how you use your skills, your knowledge,
throughout the whole process
the whole time.
and how you connect those different areas.
So practically,
Yeah.
how can someone use this, like, in their work?
Okay, so let's say you're working on a project.
Okay.
Maybe you're writing
Yeah.
a screenplay
Okay.
or launching a marketing campaign
Right.
or even just planning. Like a big event, masterpiece in motion would say,
Yeah.
think about all the things you already know
Right.
that might be relevant. So if I'm writing a script,
Right.
I'd obviously think about storytelling.
Exactly. Character development, maybe even some film history.
Okay.
So think
Okay.
what else do you know
Right.
that might actually help you?
That could inform the work.
Yeah, maybe you have a background in psychology
Okay.
or sociology or even something like music.
So looking for those connections,
Yes.
that might not be so obvious.
Exactly.
Like really happen. Yeah.
Right. Kind of random. It all makes that plan stronger, more beautiful.
And this isn't just for like
Right.
creative stuff either.
No, it applies to anything.
Like if I'm trying to be a better computer.
What strengths do you already have?
Okay.
That might help.
Okay. So instead of starting from scratch, I'm actually building.
Exactly. You're building on that foundation.
And as I use those skills, they become even stronger.
Exactly. It's like this
It all works together.
positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
And I think we can even bring in some of those
How can you use
spiritual insights
those insights about themed words?
and defining words.
Yeah.
That's what that means for me.
Right.
I think one way is to just start paying attention to the language behind everything.
So it's not just like
Letting it wash over.
absorb it passively, but really think about it. So like
Be present to the words.
when you're reading an article or listening to a podcast,
Correct. Or you just
just in
playing a
conversation.
conversation with a friend.
Yeah.
Pay attention to those words.
What are you thinking?
What emotions do they bring up?
Yeah.
What images come to mind?
Right.
What are they really saying?
It's like seeing this
Yes. Looking for clues.
and you can do the same thing with your own speech.
So thinking about
Think about
the words,
the words you use. Yeah.
not just for what they want,
Not just the literal,
but for how they make it.
how can you make it feel?
Yeah.
What impact they'll have.
Choose the right word.
Exactly.
Good job.
Sometimes,
Yeah. Sometimes you need that word.
sometimes word
It's
that touches
find that It's such a
Yeah.
fascinating conversation.
it really has. Massive. Yeah. Valuable. And I love how they both, in their own way, talk about how and our intention. Right? It all starts. So as we wrap up this episode,
Yeah.
I want to encourage you to think about how you
Wake up your mind, baby, cause the time is here. Capital murder, capital letters. Yeah, she catching my vibe, but she ain't fathom my chair. Need a couple gang members for these new endeavors. From this point on, anything we do together. Body on the corner, million in the trunk. 7 figures I spend at every other month. Killers on the corner, talents in the clip. Build a palace out of Paris just to fill the pit. Say my name and I'm coming with it. Everybody running over is only one gun. Cocaine, white, Barbie, I'm in the fast lane. Every day is like a death, that's when the cash came. Count money, drug residue in the club. He had a cover till I put the gloves on him. Kicking in the stone for a suicide squad. He should live with all so good.
Rhythm of life, to feel the power of me. To feel the tingle in your fingers. To feel the tingle in your fingers. Daddy was a newspaper, got him up to litigation, built up quite an operation down below. Down with a boy I fight for glory, while the bus went down one glory. All the cats were going down below. The doings and flying.
document called No Ovation Motivation by Ocean Duran. Yeah, Ocean Duran.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, he's a choreographer, an artist, entrepreneur. Really interesting guy.
Multi-talented.
Yeah, for sure. And this document, it's kind of a blend of like a business plan, personal philosophy.
A little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's written in a very unique style. So this deep dive is going to be about unpacking some of those ideas.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear your take on it. You know, you've got that background in business and you're also a pretty creative person yourself.
I dabble.
Yeah, so maybe we can kind of bridge those two worlds.
Yeah, I'm game.
All right, so No Ovation Motivation. That title alone is kind of intriguing.
Definitely catches your eye.
So what do you think he means by that? No Ovation Motivation.
Well, from what I gathered from the document, it seems like he's trying to, like you said, blend those two worlds, the art world and the business world.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's saying, I'm not actually that separate. You can use creative thinking, artistic vision, to drive success in business and even in personal growth.
So it's not just about, being a starving artist.
Exactly. You can use those skills, those creative energies to make a real impact.
And he's actually done that himself, right?
Oh, yeah. He's got a pretty impressive track record.
I mean, he runs his own dance company. He's got a media company.
He's a consultant.
Yeah. Who's walking the walk?
You can say that.
Definitely. Now, something that struck me as we were reading this was this idea of healing art.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one for him.
So what's your take on that? What do you think he means by that?
Well, it seems like he's suggesting that artistic expression can be a path
Okay.
to not just personal development, but to actual healing.
Like therapy almost?
Kinda, yeah. But it's more than that.
Okay.
He sees it as a way to tap into something deeper,
Interesting.
to confront your emotions, to work through past traumas, and to ultimately become a more whole person. Okay, so it's not just about, painting a pretty picture.
No. Much deeper than that.
There's this therapeutic element
Definitely.
to the art itself.
And he even extends that to the community.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he talks about art being a catalyst for collective growth and transformation.
Okay, so it's not just individual healing. It's about like a community coming together.
Exactly.
Through art.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff.
Now let's talk about something that I think a lot of people are going to be scratching their heads about.
I know what you're going to say.
Oceans Ontology 101.
Oh yeah, that's a mouthful.
What is that?
Well, he doesn't really define it explicitly.
Right, it's kind of vague.
But from what I can gather, it seems to be his personal philosophy.
Okay.
Like a framework for understanding yourself and your place in the world.
So it's kind of like his own personal brand of like self-help or...
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
It's about aligning your actions with your own personal rhythms.
Personal rhythm.
Yeah, like finding that internal beat.
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of like being in tune with yourself.
Exactly. Knowing when to push, when to rest,
Interesting.
when to go with the flow, when to resist.
So how does that actually play out in his work? How does he use that in his business or his art?
Well, he talks about resourcing, networking resources being a key part of his teachings.
Resourcing, networking resources.
Yeah, it's one of the little phrases.
Okay.
And basically it seems like he's saying that connecting with others, building relationships, tapping into the resources around you, that's all crucial for personal growth.
Okay.
And, that makes sense in a business context, too.
Yeah, for sure. Networking is huge.
Exactly. You gotta build those relationships.
Right. So it's not just about like sitting alone, meditating on a mountaintop.
No, it's about actively engaging with the world.
Interesting. So there's this balance between like the inner work and the outer work.
Absolutely. You gotta have both.
Okay. Now another thing that really jumped out at me was this idea of performers paramount.
Ah, yes. The choreographer in him coming out.
Right. What is that all about?
Well, it's basically his model for revitalizing the entertainment community.
Okay.
And it's all about leveraging individual strengths and collaboration. And here's the kicker. He says everyone involved in a production, from the artists to the sponsors to the audience,
Wow.
they're all performers in their own right.
So it's like we're all on stage in a way.
Exactly. We all have a role to play.
That's a pretty radical way of looking at things.
It is. And, he doesn't just throw this out there as an abstract idea.
Okay.
He actually gives concrete examples in the document.
Like what?
Well, he talks about the artistic director, obviously.
Right.
But he also mentions the marketing team, the production managers, the people behind the scenes.
Right.
They're all contributing to this larger ecosystem.
So it's like a whole team effort.
Exactly. Everyone's a performer.
Wow. This is already blowing my mind, and we've only just scratched the surface of this document.
Oh, we're just getting started. Buckle up.
I'm ready for the ride. It's really interesting how Duran brings in this environmental aspect to all of this.
Yeah, it's like he sees that as part of the whole picture too.
Right, it's not just about personal growth or artistic expression.
It's about like this bigger connection to the world around us.
Exactly. And he even mentions streamlining environmental impact through his work.
Yeah, that part was a little vague. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that.
But I think it points to this idea that, like you said, everything is connected.
Right, like our actions have consequences not just for ourselves, but for the planet too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties back to that idea of resourcing, networking resources.
How could I forget?
Right. Connecting with others, building relationships.
It's not just about taking, it's about giving back too.
Exactly. Contributing to something larger than yourself.
Yeah, and he talks about production and performance and how they both involve movement and momentum.
Okay.
It's almost like he sees life itself as this kind of performance.
So in a way, we're all kind of dancing through life.
In a sense, yeah. We're all moving, we're all creating.
And it's the collaboration between all the performers that makes something truly impactful.
Right, like a theatrical production. It's not just the actors on stage.
It's the whole team.
The crew, the lighting, the sound.
Even the audience.
Exactly. Everyone contributes to the overall experience.
And that echoes his idea that everyone is a performer in their own right.
Right, we all have our own unique lines to deliver.
And our own contributions to make.
Exactly. So what are you bringing to the stage?
That's a great question. And this document is like a treasure chest filled with these cryptic but insightful gems.
Yeah, it doesn't make it easy for us.
But it's definitely worth the effort.
One thing that really stood out to me was this idea of provisionary management.
Okay, I remember him mentioning that. What's that all about?
It's about being prepared for anything.
Like having a backup plan.
More than that, it's about being proactive and resourceful.
Okay.
Like anticipating challenges before they even arise.
So it's not just about reacting to things, it's about being ahead of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like a chess player, thinking several moves ahead.
I like that analogy. So how does that apply to like everyday life?
Well, imagine you're planning a big project.
Okay.
You don't just set the deadline and hope for the best.
Right.
You think about what could go wrong. You have contingency plans.
So it's about having a plan B and a plan C.
And maybe even a plan D.
Just in case.
Exactly. It's about being flexible and adaptable.
So it's not about being rigid or sticking to the plan no matter what.
Right. Sometimes you gotta improvise.
And, he also talks about integrating operative values and defining methods for investment in a quality of living.
Yeah, that's a big one too.
What do you think he means by that?
Well, I think it's about being mindful and intentional about how we live our lives.
Okay.
Like making choices that align with our values and our goals.
So it's not just about going through the motion.
No, it's about being present, being aware.
And making choices that lead to a fulfilling life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about investing in yourself and your well-being.
This is all starting to click for me. Now, earlier we touched on that mind-boggling excerpt.
Which one?
Growth occurs based on the implications of what can be created to accessorize.
Oh yeah, that one took me a while to wrap my head around.
It's like a riddle.
What do you think he's trying to say there?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it has to do with pushing boundaries, thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track.
Like finding those unexpected elements that can take something to the next level.
Right, like the little details that make all the
The
difference.
accessories that complete the outfit.
Exactly. It's about finding those creative flourishes that transform the ordinary into the extraordinary.
And it's not just about personal expression. He also links this idea to collective impact.
Oh yeah, he talks about influential impact that in turn motivates us when we get others to move all together.
That's a mouthful.
It is. But I think what he's saying is that when we grow and evolve as individuals, it inspires others to do the same.
So it's like a ripple effect.
Exactly. One person's growth can spark a whole movement,
And that movement generates energy and momentum.
which leads to even more growth.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly. And Duran seems to be saying that by tapping into our individual potential and working together, we can achieve extraordinary things.
It's fascinating how Duran sees everything through this lens of art and performance.
Yeah, even when he's talking about business or personal growth.
It's like he's choreographing this grand performance of life.
And in that performance, every step, every gesture, every interaction matters.
It all contributes to the overall beauty and impact.
Right. And speaking of performance, he even uses musical metaphors to explain his ideas.
Oh yeah, like Soundtracks 101.
And the composition of RPM, rhythm patterns in motion.
It's like he's creating a soundtrack for success.
The symphony of personal and professional growth.
And just like composing music, it requires careful attention to rhythm harmony and the interplay of different elements.
Exactly. You gotta have the right mix.
Okay, I have to ask, what do you make of Duran's writing style?
It's definitely unique.
It's not your typical business jargon.
It's more like poetry or a stream of consciousness.
Sometimes it's hard to follow.
I'll admit that.
But there's something really compelling about it.
Yeah, it's like he's challenging us to think differently.
To break free from the constraints of conventional language.
And to find our own meaning.
Exactly. So maybe that's part of the point.
To make us think, to make us question.
And to ultimately find our own path.
You know, that brings us back to the whole purpose of this deep dive.
Right, we're trying to decipher the secret code.
And extract the valuable insights hidden within this unusual document.
So what can our listeners take away from this?
What's the big takeaway?
Well, I think Duran's work offers a fresh perspective on how we can approach life work and personal growth.
Yeah, it's not about following a set formula.
It's about embracing creativity, collaboration, and a holistic vision for success.
It's about finding your own rhythm, your own voice.
And contributing your unique talents to the world.
And maybe most importantly, it's about being proactive and resourceful.
Taking ownership of your life and shaping your own destiny.
Exactly. It's about being the artist of your own life.
Wow. We've really been through the ringer with Ocean Duran, haven't we?
Seriously, my brain is doing backflips.
Mine too, but in a good way, I think. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Novation Motivation, what are your biggest takeaways?
You know, for me, it's the way Duran weaves everything together. Like, he doesn't see art and business and personal growth as separate things.
Right, it's all one big interconnected tapestry.
Exactly. And that's pretty radical when you really think about it.
It is. It's like he's saying, stop putting things in boxes. Let it all flow together.
Right, and when you embrace that, when you see the connections between everything,
Then what?
that's where the real magic happens. That's when you can tap into your full potential.
And he really emphasizes that idea of potential, doesn't he? Like, everyone has something unique to offer.
Yeah, that whole performer's paramount thing.
Yeah.
It's a powerful concept.
It is. It's like we're all on stage, even when we're not.
And the audience is watching, waiting to be inspired.
So what role are you playing in this grand production?
That's the question, isn't it? What's your unique contribution?
And he also talks about this idea of proactive living, right? Like being prepared for anything.
Yeah, that provisionary management thing.
Right, like life is going to throw you curveballs, so you better be ready to catch them.
Exactly. And not just react to them, but anticipate them, even use them to your advantage.
So it's about being flexible, adaptable, resourceful.
It's about being the director of your own life.
Okay, but let's be honest. This document wasn't exactly a walk in the park.
Oh, absolutely not. It was dense.
Yeah.
It was challenging. It was sometimes downright confusing.
There were parts where I felt like I was reading a foreign language.
Me too. But, you know, I think that's part of what makes it so valuable.
How so?
Because it forces you to think, to engage with the material on a deeper level.
It's not just giving you the answers, it's making you work for them.
Exactly. And that's where the real learning happens.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one big question you want to leave our listeners with? Something to really chew on.
If I could leave you with one thought, it would be this. What kind of music are you making with your life?
What a beautiful way to put it.
Because really, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Creating something meaningful, something beautiful, something that resonates with the world.
And it's not just about the individual notes, it's about how they all come together.
It's about the harmony, the rhythm, the overall composition.
The masterpiece that is your life.
Exactly. So go out there and make some beautiful music.
Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the mind of Ocean Duran. We hope you've been inspired, challenged, and maybe even a little bit transformed. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep making your own unique music.